Hey, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor, America's first licensed astrologer, with my November 2020 astrological overview. I'm going to give you the big picture for the month, talk about where the planets are, and throw in a couple of other tidbits for you. This applies to everybody. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to start with where the sun and Venus and Mercury and Mars are, because those are the fast moving planets, and that's where the action is. So the sun uh, right now is in the most powerful sign in the entire zodiac, in my opinion, Scorpio. Scorpio very often gets a bad rap because some of the information that was written about Scorpio way back when was written by people who viewed life very negatively. We have evolved since then. And what I have come to see is that Scorpio is absolutely transformational, transmutational. It rules magic. It rules secrets. And the energy is much more powerful when the sun, the giver of life, the center of our solar system, is in Scorpio. Now, as we know, the sun goes into the next sign somewhere between the 18th and the 23rd, depending on the sign and the year. On the 21st, the sun is going to move out of powerful, transformational Scorpio and spread its wings and soar into Sagittarius. And there is such a difference between the two signs that those of you who are empaths feel it instantly. Scorpio is the sign of secrets, transformation. It keeps things hidden because it is digging into the depths of anything that's been going on. Once the sun moves into Sagittarius, it's got the answers it was digging for. And it is interested in spreading its wings, flying, pursuing the big picture. And so when the sun is in Sagittarius, we become more philosophical. We do see things more optimistically because Jupiter, the great benefic, rules Sagittarius. Okay. Venus, the planet of love and money and all things beautiful, art and music, and underline love 3 times, is in its own sign, Libra, where it loves balance and harmony. And when a planet is in its own sign, it is stronger. So there is a charm, a lovingness, a loveliness about Venus in Libra. It will stay there until the 21st of the month. Now, 21st is very important because the sun leaves Scorpio and soars into Sag on the 21st. Venus leaves I love balance and harmony, Libra, and moves into Scorpio, where our love nature becomes more intense. Our feelings about love, about money, about beauty, more intense. Scorpio is all or nothing. It's that simple. Okay, moving forward. Mercury. Now, Mercury has been retrograde, and you know what that means. Everything's confused. Whenever Mercury is retrograde, we do not begin a new project. Why? Because it either fizzles out completely or has to be redone within the year. I have experienced this on many occasions when I didn't have a choice and had to do something new on a retrograde Mercury. Now, what we do on the retrograde Mercury is tie up the loose ends of unfinished business. Let me mention something that I mentioned last month that is incredibly powerful. on November 3rd, which in the United States is election day, Mercury comes out of retrograde and moves into stationary direct. On the 4th, it moves forward. Now, it's always moving forward. It's just where we're looking at Mercury, that about where we are on planet Earth, that makes Mercury appear to be moving backwards. So on the 3rd, election day, the energy shifts. It is a noticeable shift for many people. What happens after that is that it moves forward. Nevertheless, it is in the shadow of the retrograde Mercury. And what does that mean? What it means is that while Mercury is no longer retrograde, it sure does feel like it is. And so Mercury is going to stay in the shadow of the retrograde until November 19th. So it's going to feel as if Mercury is still retrograde. Now, Mercury is going to move into powerful, transformational Scorpio on the 10th. And this is what Mercury rules our conscious mind. And so we are digging beneath the surface. We are researching. And so things are still unsettled while Mercury is in the shadow of the retrograde. And that's simply what is. Okay. I want you to hold that thought about Mercury and election day, because Mars, the planet of action and energy and war and fighting, and it's overt, it's not hidden, because it's been retrograde in its own sign, Aries. Mars goes direct on the 13th. It will be in its shadow until the first week of January, between the 2nd and the 4th. Which means while Mars has been retrograde, nothing's happening. Nothing's moving forward. Mercury's retrograde, Mars is retrograde. Whatever new project you begin is going to need revamping or being tossed out after Mercury and now Mars, which I'm talking about, move forward. Mars goes direct on the 13th, and my sense is that since we have in the United States so many mail-in ballots, hand-delivered ballots in envelopes, and then of course the ballots cast from voting booths, my sense is that the final tally may be held up until the 13th of November, when Mars goes direct and then things start moving forward, or the 19th of the month, when Mercury comes out of the shadow of the retrograde. And if you're not familiar with the shadow, I did a video back in 2019 called Mercury Retrograde, the prequel and the sequel. You might want to look at that because I went into it in greater detail. Oh, and by the way, here in the United States, daylight savings time ends Sunday, November 1st, on top of everything. But that's not all that's going on. We have a new moon on November 14th or 15th, depends on where you live, what part of the world you are in. Now, we have the election on, of course, November 3rd. Just before the new moon, when I say just before, I mean a couple of days before, we're in what's called the dark of the moon. Nothing is happening. Energy is not flowing. And so the new moon is the 14th or 15th, as I said, depending on where you live. And then energy starts moving forward, which is terrific. And remember, Mars goes direct on the 13th. The new moon is the 14th or the 15th, and everything starts moving forward. And then on November 30th, when the moon has been growing and growing and growing, and it's like a balloon that you're filling with air. And on that full moon, on the 30th, which is also a lunar eclipse, drum roll, everything comes to a head. Now, keep in mind, whenever we have an eclipse, we're going to feel it ahead of time, at least a week. Some people don't feel it at all. I get that. If you're sensitive, you feel it every step of the way. This lunar eclipse, this full moon on November 30th, is in 8 Gemini 38. Find 8 Gemini 38 in your birth chart, because this is where things come to a head. If you are a Gemini, it's your turn. If this eclipse sits on your sun, meaning you're a Gemini, your moon or your ascendant, within 5 degrees, plus and minus. So the eclipse is in 8.5 of Gemini. If you have your sun, your moon, or your ascendant from 3.5 Gemini, let's say 3 Gemini, to 13 Gemini, give yourself that orb. This is a new life eclipse for you. And the new life eclipses are awesome. We quote unquote feel the effects of an eclipse till the next pair of eclipses come along. Sometimes there are 3 eclipses involved. With a new life eclipse, you're going to be experiencing that, I want to say, for at least a year. And so with a new life eclipse, it's not a new chapter in your life, it's a whole new book. How exciting is that? Now, I don't think that I gave you the position for the new moon on the 14th or 15th, depending on where you live. That's 23 Scorpio. Sorry, Mercury's retrograde. I'm blaming everything on that. On the 15th, you will look for 23 Scorpio in your birth chart, because that area of life is what starts moving forward. Yes. And then on the 30th, that full moon / lunar eclipse brings everything to a head in the area of life where it falls in your birth chart. Just look at the house it's in. That tells it completely. Okay, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover, and then some. I will be videoing my full moon ceremony sometime this week and posting it on my YouTube channel. So I look forward to that marvelous full moon on Halloween. It should be a wild time. So if you would like your own personal forecast by sun sign, find it on the list of videos I am now getting ready to record. So till we meet again, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours.